この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Jujutsu Kaisen on a Friday, and we're going to watch episode 17, part 2 of Thunderclap. A weird two-parter that seems to work better as single parts because there's a fucking lot going on, and it seems like there's going to be continuing to be a fucking lot going on. Last week's episode was on fire in a couple more ways than one, following up our individual big battles with these members of the enemy squad, with the incredible, very unique, very distinctive Choso battle, with the incredible, very distinct, very unique Jogo battle. That was also fucking dope. Much bigger in scale and throwing buildings around and insane. And it all ends in fire. For Sukuna's powers are much more interesting and multifaceted than we might have known before. Very cool. Now what? We've seen a weird creature thing with weird stuff floating above its head, and I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what it is. I'm feeling like it might be Toji? I don't really know. I honestly have no idea. Toji's gone. I think. Means Megumi's gonna survive, maybe. Think. It's kind of hard. It's kind of up in the air with this show sometimes. But Sukuna is still out here. And, unless he burns out real quick, he could very seriously burn everything down. So where do we go from here? What's the second part of the Thunderclap? And what strange unknown variable, with weird stuff spinning over its head, is going to emerge and throw this all further out of whack? Because this whole thing has been a cascade of shit getting thrown deeper and further out of whack, cascading and tumbling into unpredictable insanity. Toji emerging was one big step in that. Sukuna with all the fingers and then turning on Jogo was another step of that. Like, holy shit. But, man, what a cascade of strange events. It seems like there's enough chaos going on that I don't feel able to predict anything. So instead, I'm just going to be excited, and I'm going to strap in for the ride. I feel like this episode 17, is going to be quite the ride. It's been impossible to avoid the feeling that there's some fucking crazy Sakuga coming down the pipeline for me. Not that I'm not upset about knowing that at all. I'm very excited, and it let me get into the right headspace to be watching that. I don't know how it's going to go actually experiencing it. Sometimes I'm very engaged, and sometimes I'm just completely bowled over by what's happening. We'll see. We'll see how it goes and where it goes. But I'm excited to see some cool animation, and there's this thing that you might not know about me. It's kind of a secret. The secret is that I really enjoy enjoyable things. Like, I really enjoy them wholeheartedly. And so if you tell me that I'm going to have a really enjoyable, highly produced, very interesting episode of a show that I already really enjoy, now you're just speaking my language. Now you're just doubling down and making me excited. So I hope that I can transfer some of that excitement to you, and I hope that we can jam out and have a good time with this episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, wherever the hell it takes us. For the present moment, I want to scribble a sketch of a drawing that's in the last episode, and I've already pulled up the frame for it. It's just, here, I'll just show you. There, I edited it in. It's just a frame of the fire, when it's Sukuna using the fire, and I don't even want to try to do the color stuff. I get that a lot of why this color fire looks particularly interesting is because of the variation in colors and tones. I just want to copy the line art and basically ignore the hands too. I don't even care about the hands being right. I just want to copy the line art and figure out how the shapes look, because when I look at it, I can't make it go into my brain, I think, until I try to draw it. So I'm going to try to draw it. I'm going to turn the camera on. This will go quick. I'll fast forward through it, and then we'll jump into the episode. I just need to do this for myself. And is over here. So then fire goes up, over, around, and then it's licking around the edges here. This goes here, and then it's sort of semi-angular. with tendrils. And then this piece goes in like that. This piece goes in like that. Oh, they're woven. Okay, that's part of it, is that they actually have a distinctive, like, weave form, so they're spiraling around each other are all of these pieces. I've fucked it up. It's like completely different from the way that it actually is in the thing, but the math, the patterning makes sense to me now. A little bit. Okay, so this would be a dark chunk because it's woven in over here, and then this would be another chunk. They're like almost sharp lines, but not. This is like almost greenish. Okay, so then if I just do individual tones then it would be, this guy would be dark, 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 and then mini dark, like in between. Whoa. Okay, that ends up looking really cool. I think my brain expanded. I don't consciously know what I did, but I think my brain expanded. Neat. Okay, so I have downloaded the not Shroud version of this episode because I was informed that there's some kind of flub with the original Shroud version, so we've got that, and we're ready to roll for episode 17, Thunderclap Part 2. And now everything shakes and the boom hits. Maybe. Not sure. Does the thunderclap refer to the Sukuna clap or to something else? I don't know. Let's go ahead and watch episode watch episode 17. I've got some discussion in the Discord lined up that I'll want to pull up afterward because some people told me that there's some stuff that I should look at. I think it was storyboards and stuff, so I'm curious to see what that's all about, and I'm excited to see whether we notice weirdness going into this episode and how fucking crazy it might be. I really hope that it gets really fucking crazy, and I'm excited for any kind of information about all the things that are going on because it feels like a chaos clusterfuck, and any sort of direction would be awesome. Let's go ahead and watch an awesome episode of an awesome show, because enjoyable things are enjoyable. Tanoshi wa tanoshi da yo, and I enjoy having you along for the ride. So thanks for joining me. Catch early access on the Patreon, and catch this video right now. There'll be 2 versions, picture-in-picture, available in the description, timer on YouTube, beep beep timer to count you down, and early access as mentioned on the Patreon. Beep beep timer. Yuji. Oh, we're back here. Oh, so we're going deep. Oh, we're a letterbox too. Is that because it's Sukuna? I wonder if we'll break out of that. Fucking Blondie, right? Okay. Pokemon. You are a Pokemon trainer. Oh boy. Spot coloring. Red, red. Signs, signs. Ah. Yeah. Ha. Mm-hmm. Like... Oh. Let's go. Oh, fading in, fading in, fading in. Oh, so he can bring it out even though he can't subjugate it. So he's calling forth a beast that he cannot control. All the style is so different and so far away. Oh, he's going for it to try to stop him. Ah. Oh, really? Interesting. We're destined blood enemies. Not really. A last-ditch suicidal effort. He just felt that. He just felt that. What the fuck is this thing that Megumi's about to do? I don't understand. God damn it, Uraume is just working toward that. Whoa. Whoa, we have dropped into a different space. And a new style. Yeah. We're in the spirit world, baby. Multiple people for the subjugation. 8-handled sword. Divergent Scylla Divine General Makora. 8 handles like the 8 of the wheel. Unchained. Oh, fuck! He doesn't even care about its full Megami style, just suicide self. Have fun. It's not mine. I can't do anything about this. He's just gonna have fun with you now. Hello? Hello? Time to be terminated. Oh! Yeah, he's only got 2 left, right? Oh! Life's little daily miracles? Huh. I don't think he's got enough left. Oh, he is? He doesn't know that he's got multiple survival moments. Fuck. Sukuna, why'd you save him? It took one of his miracles to make it happen, too. Oh? Did he make himself vanish? God, he immediately understands. Can Sukuna fight this thing? Oh. Whoa. So was Megumi betting on... So that's our setup. That's so exciting. We've been in thrummy background music this whole time. Like no real musical cues. And so stark, dark, black, white with spot color the whole time. Letterboxed too. We're queuing up for like birdie stuff. Very, like, style is already Kaganashi-esque, so I'm really wondering if we go full in on that. Get to find out a little bit more about his technique. This thing is battling Sukuna. And he's grabbing popcorn though. Okay, never mind. Oh. Ridiculous. Stale as fuck, dude. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay, that was cool. Okay, that is cool. Yeah, his severing technique, he keeps going back to. A finger, too. Layer by layer? Ba 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 ba! Ah! Oh. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, it's spicy. Holy shit. Shh. Every hit that he makes is just a huge slice. How's this thing staying together? That's how. Fire. Oh my god. Yeah, imagine demigods just battling. Oh yeah, cry it out, bud. Just cities in the sky. What the fuck? Oh man, all this smoke stuff is so cool and unique and simple. Yeah, why can't he cut him? Oh, that was really smooth. I can't stop but be like, oh wow, oh wow. There's so many moments, there's so many things. Ah! Noise. Ah. A different of the 8? Like shifting paths or something? Oh, full shadow. Okay, here we are. Oh! Oh! Awesome scale stuff, like the individual oh my goodness. What did he just do to it? Oh, there we are. Turn the lights off and back on. All this camera movement is actually nuts. This is a couple levels beyond. This is insane. Oh. And reformed. Whoa. Whoa. That mark is so important. What the fuck? What was that? Like reincarnation. This is like Sword of the Stranger. Or Mob Psycho. But it's also unlike anything. It's unlike anything. Sorry for being frozen. I feel like he's sympho-gearing. Like reincarnation or parallel realities are so... The music choices are so good. It's so understated throughout. How are we style swapping like this? How are we doing this? Fucking power lines. Escalates even more. Semi-CG for the solid object. Dink. I was waiting for that. Reincarnate at each tink tink. Ah. Fuck. Lung. Lung for worm, yeah, adapts to anything. So. In the state I was in back then. But. Oh. He had to domain. What? In our space, it intrudes here. Whoa. Oh. 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 Out of consideration, because he doesn't want to kill him? So he's gonna kill everybody within 100... just evaporating everything in 140 meters? Oh, he's gonna tell us. It's gonna tell us. Oh. Oh. It's still going. Sukuna would have to use something else. But he has access to something else. And so, fire. Right? Fire. So he opens some gate to some fireplace. And annihilates the fireplace. Beautiful. And the lights come back on. Oh, he's gone? Oh, he's gone? Hi, buddy. No, he's not. Better start running. Maybe the other way, bro. He doesn't have any more. Okay, good. Thank God. Oh, we got his name now. Shigemo. Don't care, asshole. He's running out. Hi, folks. Oh my God, he delivered him. He delivered him. Yo. You know that you just killed so many people. Right? That was a lot of not great deaths. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro, savor it. Can you stomach that thing that's inside you? No. Good. That's not you. Fuck, we didn't get an OP. So is this the wrap of the Shibuya incident, mostly? That was the big thing. Holy fuck, yeah. All the green lights, red lights, the spaces where we fought, just all destroyed. Completely obliterated in this, and 140 meters of it in a radius, completely black hole of vast. I don't have words. They don't exist. Fuck. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh, fuck. That's a change. No better than him. Ah! Man, it ain't you! Oh, are we on Choso? Is this Choso? Could it be? Oh my god, is that Nanami? Oh my god, he's semi-alive. No! You fucked it up! This might have been the most technically impressive episode of Jujutsu Kaisen so far, and that, my friends, is saying quite a bit, isn't it? It's saying quite a bit, isn't it? Okay, I want to note a couple of things that are particularly amazing before we dive in. First thing that I notice about this episode is, like, the rate of progression of music is dramatically different from the entire rest of the season. From the episodes where the music hasn't hit super well, Grasshopper Fight, and from the episodes where the music has hit super well and the jazzy style has gone really great, the music in this episode, dramatically different. We stay in this same space. First, nothing. Then, thrumming, ethereal, dark ambient, industrial. Yeah, like background of action movie type background music, but it's not music. It's not the swells and crescendos that you might expect. And then for the entirety of our big battle, it's that, and it just keeps continuously escalating, but it doesn't escalate fast. Like, we get into serious, insane battle stuff here pretty early on in the episode, and that shit is going to continue through to here at the very end of the episode. It's just going to keep going until we get this lull after the enormous explosion of everything, right? So essentially we have like 12 to 14 minutes of absolutely primo action, and we got to figure out how we music for that. And the way that we music for it is a steady build toward epicness that actually sort of peaks in the middle in terms of beat and momentum, and slows down a little bit to become more like broad and epic and big sounding before clashing back together for the finale climax. The music usage is stunning, and that's like the least interesting thing about the episode. Okay, background and framing. We start here. We start in an emotional core that we haven't been back to for a long time. To the detriment of the show, I'd say. Losing touch with this emotional core in Itadori is like, it's a crucial piece. It hasn't been that important. I wish it were more important. It's a fundamental thing that I think makes the show tick, so I'm very glad to be back here. But being back here does two things. One, it tells us that we're going to live and exist in an emotional space, and maybe it implies that the ideals presented by this scene and inferred or like grouped around it for our minds are going to be questioned in the episode, which they are. And it sets up this moment where we go from here to here, and we should immediately notice that there are a couple things that are different. One, the physical visual tone is completely different, but part of that is because there are these giant black bars on both sides of reality. Why? Why are there giant black bars on both sides of reality? oh, well, they're gone here at the end once Itadori wakes up, right? But they exist right up until the moment that this explodes, and they come back. You know, that piece of the frame comes back when Itadori does. So, what's happening? Itadori watched this movie too. Yuji watched this film as well. Here we are. Here's how he is before he sees this movie. He's looking at his grandpa thinking like, yep, that's the way that I'm going to be with my life. And then we watch this movie where his body, without his volition, goes and murders a bunch of people in horrifying ways. Then we pop back out of it. It's a flash into sequence. It's a complete change of visual perspective, exemplified by the black bars, by the letterboxing. It's really fucking cool. Then there are other layers that we haven't even gotten to, like storyboard, composition, framework, flow, movement, none of that. All of which is obviously stunning and spectacular, right? But I want to build up to it a little bit, just like the episode builds up to its climax. I want to build up there because we gotta recognize that there's a lot going on here that isn't flashy, that makes the flashy stuff work. Because there's a lot going on here that isn't that flashy that makes the flashy stuff work. Being letterbox gives us its own vibe. It changes it changes us to full widescreen, right? To closer to ultra widescreen, and that's a very different look for an episode as well. All you need to do to figure out what I mean by that is watch some slightly older shows that are in 3.4 or 4.3, and then watch some newer shows that are in 16.9 and recognize that they're really quite different. And in the exact same way, going from 16:9 to an even wider widescreen like we have here is going to be very different as well. It's going to extend things horizontally and give us this more filmic, wide, landscapey feel to everything that can then get converted in really interesting ways when we change orientations, which we happen to do a lot all throughout the episode, giving us a lot more dynamism of flow. Like the diagonal angles on the widescreen, this sort of flattened out ultra wide, are almost the same length that they are on a full height screen, but the horizontal is as long as it is, but the vertical is much more compressed, much more condensed. So our characters feel more smushed, but also able to smush out the sides and like move in more angular ways. It's really interesting. Spot coloring, gray, everything, saturation down to zilch, down to 0. And so what stands out to us are these like guidelines. This light produces a vertical, like angular guideline, angly guidelines through stuff, angles through there, and then these bright red lights, big spot colors, and the spot color red of the blood. Signs and symbols have been crucial for this whole thing, for the whole show. So now it's just red lights, do not walk, do not cross. Our shots start out really wide, really far away from characters. And then when they do get closer to characters, they're like hyper close-ups. We never get this feeling like we can really see our characters very well in these first moments. We get a little bit here, but that's only to set up for that big turnaround moment. And then it's back here to not see Megumi very well. And then as the darkness closes in on us, maybe his darkness as he pulls in shadows, but maybe also the darkness of losing consciousness is what it feels like. Time to pull something in. And we introduce, for the first time, visually, something that we kind of already did here. Like, we've changed our landscape by going black and white, but here, Megumi takes control of the landscape. He's not exerting a domain, but the feeling is quite similar. Click, the lights go off. You're in my zone now. I'm in control. Because we set up with this character having control of the situation. He's like standing over us, looming, all that stuff. But Megumi switches the script. Now I'm in control. And now I'm going to bring out something for a ritual. Very curious about this little conversation. Again, very hyper close-up focused. He won't be strong enough. But he believes that this idea, this summoning, was probably how he went about killing somebody with Gojo's powers. Which is crazy. And Sukuna notices it. Very spooked by the Uraume stuff and the like, yes, continue on with your plans. I love this moment when we get 2D Psycho Weird. It's very Monogatari, right? Like, exceptionally Monogatari. I want to do as little comparative analysis in this episode as possible, but there are going to be a couple of things where I can't help but point at it and point at something else and go like, there are a couple of moments that are Birdie, where you're just like, that looks so much like the stuff that's in Birdie. And there are a couple of moments that are like some of the Mob Psycho fights, which I know that there's at least one person who's crossed over, but I forget who it is. For sure there are some Mob Psycho people working on this episode too. But this just reads so Monogatari, like symbols in space in impossible ways. And then we pull out into this shadow landscape it's gorgeous. It's so fucking sick. It's not a domain, but it's something. The tension, it's so hard to feel it as we go through this second time, but the slow tension build that is throughout this episode, and part of it is this like heartbeat. I'm going to play a few seconds of music of the full audio so you can hear the like heartbeat increasing in intensity. Thump, 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 thump. You hear that in the background? Like that thump, 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 is the kind of thrum that's throughout the thing, and it slowly escalates over the whole episode. And it gives us that like tense but moving feel to it. It's all these subtleties woven together that make a foundation for the insane Sakuga Fest that we get at about 12 minutes, where it really kicks into utter insanity. Fucking great. Thwam, bam, and now you have a problem. Narrator-san is so useful. So fucking useful. I love this insight. Shigemo Haruta erases life's daily miracles from his memory and stores them up. So, in his life, he actually has a pretty shitty existence because the little miracles that would be making life, like, worthwhile don't get through to him. He just forgets them instantly. But then they become actual 9 lives that he can, like, use. That's so fucking interesting. What a weird power. And he's running out of ways, but not out completely. Sukuna immediately understands the whole process. And he is not willing to let Megumi die. He's got some purpose. So he steps into the arena. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Chunk. Okay. Grayscale, setting in. Wham. I can't even fathom how I can go through this and talk about it effectively. This might be the point where I want to go look at the stuff that was sent to me on Discord so that we can use that as a background. Okay, the stuff that I've got that's super informational is going to come into play at the about 12-minute mark. It's super funny. That is the mark that I wrote down as like, oh, this is where shit gets wild and super for real. And so I will move toward that as we go. I find it cool that I was able to pick out like where the interesting storyboards started. That's cool. Okay, let's go ahead and do my best to go through what we've got. So, Thwum Glow Sword. This is going to be way cut through because I know that it's going to be really hard in terms of copyright for this. It's going to be really cut up, forgive me. I'm just going to talk about things that I think are really interesting. This set of swooshy impact frames in the middle where everything warps as the blade cuts through ends up being really sketched and cool looking. Okay, looking at our technique execution for dismantle. And so he goes for dismantle and it looks like that. And then there's the impact of the slice afterward and all the way through the building behind it. These are like our fundamental building blocks. These are like our letters or our articles are like base words, a and the, for the sentence that will be this fight. It's like the particular moves that they can make, the sword swipes, the particular movements, the attacks, how they look and feel. Those are our background, our fundament. And then similarly, foop, shoop, bam. And then we can speed that up and like do a more complicated sentence with it as we go. So silly. There are so many moments of this fight that are fun moments, like fun, goofy hits or beats. I would call this a beat, right? And this is a joke beat. It's a joke beat because this is a life or death insane battle, and Sukuna's taking it as seriously as going to the movies and chomping some popcorn, right? So it's a joke beat, but there are a bunch of those, and there are a bunch of also like cool shit happened beats, right? Like smash a building, a thing falls and a person falls off of it, a phone implodes, like all these individual elements that are cool beats. Or like reach out, grab a car and throw that at you, or the train gets thrown at him and he like disintegrates it into a ribbon or something. Those are all like cool moments or particular things that more than just a big set of attacks or whatever should grab the audience's attention and be like, whoa, a cool thing. You might have noticed me being like, whoa, a cool thing a whole bunch during this episode. And those were those moments. Sometimes it's me being like, whoa, a cool thing because it's cool animation-wise, or it's a cool visual or a cool idea, but mostly it's because it's a cool beat that says something about the characters. It's like, it expresses something. It's the moment where your character takes a big punch to the jaw, and they go, yeah, let's go again. That's like a cool beat, right? It's a beat just like a big punch, but instead it's an emotional moment or a characterization moment or something separate, and this is something like that. And it also gives us time to dive into the mindset and hear things out. Disgusting. Not sure what happens here with the popcorn flying, but it's gorgeous. It actually reminds me of one of the big flaming swoosh scenes with all the cars. Might be the same animator. And then wham, crumple, and throw. This is a real standout to me as we go vertically and diagonally. As we said before, diagonals are really powerful here because the way that our frame looks, our screen looks. It's reminiscent of some of the work on the Fate movies, the Heaven's Feel movies. I'm sorry for doing comparative analysis. It's just reminiscent in terms of high quality, big moving stuff. Backflipping would be one of those goofy but amazing beats. Whoa. The whole thing flows so good and so smexy, and it moves so much in so many different ways. The show's ability to go incomprehensible really stands out in this episode. I think there are parts of it that people might point at and be like, I don't like this, it's too incomprehensible. And I vibe with it really well. I actually really like it in some of these circumstances, especially in this episode. There have been moments in previous ones where it's been a little bit of a stretch to be like, yeah, but it works. It feels like it's right for the situation. This feels like it's right to me, and I'm not stretching. I'll stand by that. Even if people come at me and tell me that like this episode actually had flaws or flubs in it, the people who are doing the eye work for this, like the storyboards mostly, the figuring out where stuff is gonna go and how fast and where, boom, we go from just chillin', floating, to like rocketed backward in an instant to through a building, out the other side of the building, to another building, battering off of it, and flipping down casually to springboard off. And the momentum changes, so like, boom, whoa. That's not even incomprehensible compared to where we'll get after the 12-minute mark. The finger is another one of those goofy beats, because it's like, it's a finger, it's a Sukuna thing, it's goofy. And then a couple of incredible hits of big, like, slidey moments and whooshing through space. Really enjoying this. It's very reminiscent of Gojo enjoying himself. And then this big spin crunches us down a level, smashes through, drops through to here, and we begin to do the punch, wham, punch, wham, punch, wham, pep, 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 pep. And this just escalates as every single punch is slicing all around them and everything floating up above them because of the sheer power of their attacks and the fact that the building that they're in is collapsing, and then all the smoke and animation around it becomes stunning and spectacular, and suddenly physical objects come into play, right? We've been using buildings a little bit, but now physical objects come into play, and our play is going to be in space. So we're whipping each other around. We saw a cut very much like this before that I commented on and complimented. This time it's more shadowless and edgeless and even more whippy and insane. Crunch some cars and throw those, and start to take this battle really, really take it up to the skies. And it's about here. We're getting there. We're getting there. Flying through space, kicking stuff, more slices, and then figuring out the actual techniques. We spend this time looking at everybody else and experiencing it all and feeling the true horror of what's going on, realizing that these are demigods throwing buildings up in the air. That's so cool. Complete loss of any detail, pure movement. There are some really cool moments in this episode that just boil everything down to the absolute purest of shape and movement and form and flow. It's very cool to see. It's very cool to see. It's something that gets done consciously in a lot of shows, but doing it really well is still so spectacular. Sliding through all these people, uncaring, killing them, slicing them. I didn't even see that slice that he goes for that kills them all. Shing. And then ba 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 ba. Again? Indeed. Insane cubes. Up through. Here we go. So we lose space. We go so smeary that we lose form too. And then it's all movement, and the camera's moving too, so it's just like... This sequence maybe relies too much on the Kuleshov effect. On like showing a thing and then showing another thing and expecting your brain to wire them together. It maybe relies on it slightly too much. There are pieces where my brain doesn't wire it together perfectly. But then it's accented by these big, wide moments that make me feel like I actually do grok what's going down. Just pulled him back. And then he pulls the cars through. It can't stop him. It's just this constant battle of unstoppable forces. I love scenes like this. I've commented on them in particular other places. The thing that makes this for me is the one person who falls. Because that humanizes it and makes it real. It's a big dramatic event, and then it's a person falling, and that's you. And that, like, gets under my skin and does it for me. So we start going vertically or, like, directly through space here, following Sukuna as he goes, and smashing things as we fly. And get more focused on faces, it feels like. I don't even understand. He hits him with a train, and it, like... He whips it into a ribbon. I guess he's slicing it up into pieces. I don't even understand. I don't really care. Lock. And realizes that he's adapting. This face almost looks like fear. But it isn't. And I think this is about where we kick in. Completely shadowless. Completely zoomy, completely insane. Absolutely massive sequences. Incredible camera movement. Like that. Poop. Spectacular scale. The sheer horror of being one of the ants on the ground while the elephants stomp around. You can see it, can't you? Yeah, maybe, but I can't. I don't understand at all. So at about this point, reality stops making any sense, and we just move forward into the space that I know is the particular storyboards, I believe by Weilin Zhang, which, Which I can say without any reservation are some of the most interesting styled cuts pieces that I've seen in animation, full stop. The degree of speed, especially angular speed, is like kind of like nothing I've ever seen. The way that the characters careen into each other, or this arm does, because the characters will as well, but these flippy, zippy, the way it's all sketched is, it's not even smeared properly, it's like a different style. And then these dark shadow faces, incredible like looming movement. This is where we get into that space of like losing coherence, but in a way that's very coherent. I don't even understand how to... I don't understand how to express that I don't understand this, and yet it worms its way into my brain and makes sense to me. It's a dance. It verges through like 4 styles in a matter of seconds. Boom, 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 boom. And then into cascades of edge-lit darkness over blood splattered across the sky, art painted in reality, space whipping past us in a way that cannot be, that is not. Movement that doesn't make sense. Flow that's so fast that it's incomprehensible. Characters devolving into shapes and then reforging themselves as they're destroyed and reborn. Oh, is it a Boo reference with the snakeheady thing? Feels like a Boo reference. And then there's this one sequence that, I mean, very obviously stands out amongst everything else. Because it's done in fucking oil paints or something. And then it drops back away. This mixed media styling. I mean, it's like Mob. It might be painted... Oh, is it painted on glass? Is this paint on glass like Mob? I'm almost certain that this is paint on glass. Because that is Mob. Right? Again, sorry for the comparative analysis, but like, there are scenes of Mob when he goes full 100 that are like that in Season 2. So they square up. And it's like, this dance is so vibrant, so emotional, so gesture drawing-y. Boom. Boom. Click. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite this expressive in motion this fast and this much. I don't know. Step, 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 step. Can't even get there. Thap, 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 thap. Bam! And he regens. Again and again. We move in and through and in and through. And this part, what I said was, this reminds me of Sword of the Stranger because that's where my brain goes when it goes for a sequence of 2 masters fighting and the camera masterfully weaving in between them, following their swords, following their strikes, following their blows, and moving as they do, moving in with them. Sword of the Stranger, the most famous katana battle sequence from it, is like, is in the realm where I would place this. That's not something that I thought I was going to say. That's not something that I thought I would ever say. It's totally different, you know? Sword of the Stranger goes for like a hyper-realism in a lot of ways, but this doesn't. This goes for flow and fluidity and smooth and emotion and interest and momentum and light and dark and light and dark and flash and shatter. Fuck the shadow bot, the like. Oh my god. Oh. The effects are so crazy. Whoa! We get hyperspeeded by a kick. Dude hits light speed by getting kicked in the face. And through it all refuses to go down. This spinning with it on the shoulders. Whoop, 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 whoop. One Piece can be jealous. We had a symphony of destruction last time, but now it's a composer. A canvas. Art of death. Made manifest on Shibuya. And at this point, he really takes over. Oh, those diagonals through space are like nothing that I've ever seen. Those are like nothing that I've ever seen. The complete media change underwater. Again, like paint. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of this episode. Incredible. Truly, I cannot credit it. There's this moment where, yeah, we're slicing a bunch of stuff up, and we grab a full, oh yeah, we grab that. And then he grabs this beam from a bridge that starts falling, and then chucks it at us. And then that piece, I think, is 3D, or like, grabbed. It's like one of the few things in the episode that I look at, and I'm like, oh, I can see how they did that, maybe. Almost everything, I can't. Just demolishing everything as it comes, slicing everything as it goes. Creating complete obliteration and loving that he gets to go all the way. All the way. You sure showed me. And so the greatest domain by the greatest curse user. Instant hit on everything in the area. Obliterating with one attack, and then doing the impossible and calling fire once more. Another flaming arrow. A spectacle of unfathomable proportions. And now Yuji has to live with it. Okay, now I can go look at the thing that I was sent. This was sent to me by Manko Man. If you're not aware of Manko Man does videos on this YouTube thing, very often about Sakuga and animators and stuff, and I think they're a cool person, so that's cool. Please add whoosh of sound effects and positions his arms to emit another slashing attack. It splits the buildings behind him in this cut. Snap, 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 snap. Ah, that one. Sukuna uses his slashing attack. The crisscross shapes look like the metal frames of glass skyscrapers. Yes, they do. But actually, it's the visualization of Sukuna's slashing attack. Keep in mind, in this scene, the camera's following Sukuna as he flies backwards toward the left from this angle. Right. Makora leaps into the air from behind a building. He swings his arm in coordination with Sukuna's attack, hitting him in order to catapult his... Oh, is that what happens? He swung it intentionally into it to catapult it? I didn't realize. And then the screen inverts and a crisscross pattern attack hits, and that's where he's dismembering him completely. Kshunk, but he hit him with the one, and so that one goes flying and gets that incredible speed, which we get to see. Ding, 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 ding. And then he brushes that off, and it goes flying off anyway. Okay, now dismembered corpse also hurtles. Sukuna comes into screen. Makura suddenly appears right up against Sukuna. Pop, right, in a scare. Please don't add sounds to this that make it sound like there is any impact when Makura appears against Sukuna. I want the appearance to be ghostly, like a horror film. That makes a ton of sense. There are a bunch of moments where, like, sound doesn't really come into play in the way that I would expect it to. I'll bet those are things that Waylon has asked for. The camera pans up from Sukuna up to Makora's head. Keep in mind that they are flying in the sky at super high speed, so there is heavy wind. The building behind explodes because Makora's flying arm crashes into it. The wall shatters. Yeah, there are a bunch of pieces that I'm not aware of. An upshot of the expression, still flying at high speed, fluttering aggressively, but it's so static in terms of expressions. Downshot of the hands and feet, which is because there's just elevators standing as they fly next to each other. So weird. When the background flips to black, they have flown inside of the destroyed building. It will help if SFX can change to express that they have gone from an exterior to an interior setting by changing the ambiance. At the very last second, both combatants lift up their arms and begin to deliver their first strikes, which is where they start to clash, right? Boom. Fighting fist to fist inside the building, hidden in black shadow. Chun 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 chun. Evades a haymaker. Voom. leaps up over Makura's shoulders and uses another slashing attack. Yeah, this is where he starts to flip around, cuts all over Makura, along with the insides of the building, adds sound effects of debris and building breakings. After the attack, Sukuna flips over Makura's shoulder toward the camera. Ugh! He's got such a tone, such a particular vibe for like thing, like we see it right there. It's like stuff happens, world gets exploded. And that's part of the flow of the whole episode. It's dank. Sukuna front rolls and moves past the camera. When this occurs, the interior is underexposed by the blinding lights. The camera adjusts its dynamic range and reveals that hiding refugees were diced into blood splatters and paint the destroyed interior of this building red. A few blood droplets stain the camera lens. Yeah, I remember that moment. Very striking. Please just add a whoosh. He hasn't sent out the attack just yet. It will be sent to the next cut. Makura uses his upper torso to throw his severed lower torso at Sukuna, connecting a knee against Sukuna. Sukuna is launched out of the building and Makura keeps pace. Every time Makura hits Sukuna again, it is actually a reaction to Sukuna launching another slashing attack at Makura. Makura is using a counter strategy to attack at the same time as Sukuna by deliberately severing his limbs in order to hit Sukuna while he's being hit, which is part of why Sukuna realizes that he can see his slashes, because he can predict them and feel them coming and then hit. That's so crazy. So every time the screen inverts, that's when Sukuna has attacked. Sukuna is slashing Makura first, and Makura is the one responding to it. Slash, bam, boom. You know what I can do? I feel so dumb. I can just go 50% speed. Fuck. Sukuna is hurtling. Suddenly Makura's severed head appears like an alien UFO. Bing! Ah! Sukuna notices Makura will attack again, so in this cut he's making the initial movements to evade. Please create a sense of connection between this cut and the one after this in the sound design. I love seeing these notes for people. Speedily regenerates his entire body back. The wheel spins, gakong, and stomps at Sukuna but misses. The shockwave impacts the street below and causes an explosion. Maybe like gakong, boom! Gakong, boom! Sick. They land on Dogenzaka Street, and Sukuna is traveling towards us, and here he uses a feinting motion to trick into thinking that he will use another slashing attack. He does not actually attack at all. He's just trying to use a pump fake to trick Makura here. Fucking crazy. He falls for it and swings his arm again when he's hit by this attack that does not come. So he swings at air and falls for the trick. Please make it feel empty. I want it to feel strong but pathetic. Okay, so here's a takeaway that I have. This is super awesome. About 50% of the informational detail that Weilin Zhang has placed into these scenes is too dense to actually get through to your minds. He's too good at this. He's too good at the choreography. He actually needs to pull it back and slow it down so that we can visually understand it. He understands it, right? But he's the one creating the scene, right? So it makes perfect sense to him, and it all flows great, and that's awesome, and it does flow great, and it's really cool, but it's better than we can actually compute. It's better than we can actually compute. He needs to dial it back and dumb it down for the masses. But I'm very glad that he doesn't, and hasn't, and didn't, because we get more cool art, right? Way cool art. But if you want mass market appeal for this, you got to dial it back down a little bit so that we can understand it. Because the pump fake doesn't come across. For example, there's too much going on for little movements like that to completely track, unless they're more accented and better lampshaded, better like highlighted. If they're better highlighted, then we can treat them as though they're a beat in the thing, because there are a bunch of beats that land perfectly. But what I'm finding out as we go through is that there's this immense investment in detail, and a lot of the detail that doesn't actually need to be there. It's kind of like in those scenes where we get incredible movement and animation. If we'd spent the time going over them 3 more times to add in all the like character art and the exact lip locations and where the eyes exactly are for all those action scenes. But we don't need to. We actually need them to become less coherent, more goopy, more flowy so that we can understand what's going on. The same goes for these fights. They have to be a little bit more simplified. A little bit more simplified so that we can understand them. Super cool though. Opened him up completely, almost casually, gently, right here. So I thought, I felt this was like him just having fun with it, like enjoying fighting, the same way that Gojo does when he's enjoying actually blood knighting and having a good fight against somebody interesting. But this changes the tone, it means that he's kind of teasing him. He's being a bit of a dick because he's opened him up with a pump fake. So now he's doing like a cool spin move before he actually takes his shot just to piss him off. Gentle attack is actually full force, so it decimates him and the entire environment, and it's actually a rapid succession. It's so fast that it makes it look like he's literally melting away. Yeah. Shot of Sukuna's hand advancing toward him, and his hand is constantly shaking to hide his tail. How constantly moving their fists. Oh, I see. From here on, in general, the sound design should pick up in momentum and tension should rise gradually over the thing toward the climax. I knew it! So it's the storyboarder. It's Waylon in control of all of that. Bro, I was saying that, like, this episode feels like Sukuna is a conductor of that symphony of destruction. I was wrong. It's not Sukuna. I just saw it as Sukuna. The truth is, it's the storyboard artist. It's Waylon who is conducting this symphony. Extreme close-up, shaking movement, another pump fake, and is not attacking. Huh! Yeah. Again fooled, same strategy, swings his arm, a heavy whoosh, but it isn't. Feints again. Not enough reaction time, so he blocks. So he is fooled again, and Sukuna's just owning him. Sukuna dashes forward, flings himself in the air behind, acrobatic flips, still feinting attacks, foot, turns around and throws fast swings. Is that where he goes click, 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 click with the stab? Yeah, this is where he goes stab, 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 stab. Still fooled by the fact that Sukuna is only pump faking attacks. Sukuna eventually lands and finally launches one slashing attack, which he doesn't counter, and it leaves a huge blood stain against the wall. Right. Yeah. So that is the stab, 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 stab. Regenerates, gakong, and is stumbling briefly. Whoa. Oh, this whole sequence just keeps going. Oh, fuck me, man. Oh my god. The degree of understanding that Waylon seems to have of what he wants his characters to be doing and how he wants it to feel is really stunning. Camera's locked onto the wheel like a GoPro while defending, small rotations periodically convey the sense that the wheel itself is thinking in overdrive over how to deal with Sukuna's new strategy. It would be pretty cool to use the Gakon sound effect a lot. I don't think the sound effect for the fighting needs to be the focus of the sound design. The loudest and most pronounced sound should be the wheel spinning. I feel that completely. Arm pointing to the right at Makura. Actually flying at high speeds to the left while the camera follows, so we're much fluttering. Standing still with his arm pointing. Completely confused. Every moment believes there's a new attack, so he's constantly blocking. He looks stupid blocking nothing, but is doing it masterfully anyway. Please spam Gakon. Descending into the station platform like an airplane making for a landing. Bird's eye shot on the wheel's rotation, so when it rotates, we see the background spinning. Kakung! And a front angle close-up, he moves close, and it inverts. Reaction, duck. Feinting strategy. Feinting a forward advance. Throwing a punch. Exactly like in Super Smash Bros. When the opponent deliberately uses a smash attack facing the opposite direction of their opponent, hoping to catch their opponent rolling behind them. Actually, legit. It actually is exactly like that. It is a roll read. He's playing Marth, and he's roll reading a roll behind. From the corner. With a forward smash. That's exactly what it is, and that's fucking sick. Holy shit. Facial expression communicates that he knows what has just happened. See, it just read to me as cocky confident. I didn't get the individual flow of the thing. So he has just successfully taught Makura how to feint and has just used it against himself. So he has just taught Makura to lie and in a way is corrupting Makura's divine status. Bro is thinking in 4D. Waylon, you were thinking in 7 dimensions too many. Very cool. Finally launches his own punch. It's an attack. This is the final attack for this sequence. Please make this attack feel satisfying as fuck. Boom! Yeah, no, yeah, there's a lot more that I think I understand now. I still don't, some of this shit is just like so fucking cool, but this, I totally get these are his slices. And then the debilitating demolishments. And then the body goes flying as well. But there's like no way I could have read this properly. Boom. But this like boom in for the surprise moment. No big sound effect. No ka-chunk. Or the head that appears, or all the slicing, or this fucking shit, or the oil painting, or these moments, which are him just being, like, totally cool and casual because he fainted him out. Yeah, that is what's going on. He goes for a pump fake. Huh! But he doesn't actually throw it. Huh! And he dashes back and tries to block, and now that he knows that he's got him, he throws another one. Haha, but it is an actual full attack. Boom! So he's playing with him. What am I going to hit you with? Is it a lazy thing that's actually the hardest attack? Or is it this big, like, attack that's so big that it changes the color art style that I'm using? Completely changes all my momentum? And then it's nothing. He owns you. He's pulling your strings. He's toying with you. He's playing with you. He knows what you're going to do. And he makes sure that you don't know what he'll do in turn. I don't fucking know, guys. I don't fucking know, guys. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let me just pull this up also. Let's see. Storyboards, Weilin Zhang. Not credited. Harumi Yamazaki. Hakuyu Go. Oh. Itsuki Tsujigami, who we've seen plenty of. Great. Episode director, Tsujigami. Yamazaki. Hakuyu Go. And Weilin Zhang is not credited. So may not have directed, just storyboarded. Cool. CAD. Where's 17? Come on. There's no CAD. What the fuck? There's no chief animation director listed for this episode. That's fine. There are ADs. I wonder if that means that Goso was doing more of that role for this one. That would be my guess, kind of. But I'm uncertain. Let's see about other animation directors. Kazunori Aoki? Sota Yamazaki? Oh, who was on episode 5 as well. A very stunning episode. Ninuma was on 5, not on this episode, and I didn't see any Ninuma-esque drawings in this one, so I wouldn't have expected that. Yosuke Yajima. It's a name that's familiar. 1, 4, 17, and the OP2, which is specials. Oh, with some of the lighting stuff, that makes sense to me. Yuriko, Ishii, 16, 17 together. Okay, great. I've got the full list. So here we go. I've got our storyboarder, Weilin Zhang, up first, who has not that many credits. Key animation on the OP of Carol and Tuesday, some key animation on various things, including Fate, JJK, Mob Psycho, episodes 5 and 8. Oh, 5 of season 2, 8 of season 3, which I haven't seen. Boruto, Naruto, One Piece. Okay, I'll look at these. These are Weilin Zhang stuff. Oh, this one is Pokemon with Keiichiro Watanabe. I want to see that as well. This is something with Bahi JD, Jujutsu Kaisen stuff. I'm looking for Mob, actually. No. Okay. Fine. Shang Jui Han, Till Finning, and Weilin Zhang. Oh, this is the Boruto Naruto cut. Okay. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel it. This momentum, the willingness to like go into space, boom, and into flow, the angles in the eye, and some of the beats and timing as well. Like obviously there are other animators working on this, but I see the input. I can see these lining up. Big facial stuff, straight all the way out. Holy shit. Oh, big warp momentum loss. Flip, flip, boom, yep. Big accents in between as well. Some of that feeling of like stuff happening, boom. Sweeping momentum sequences, big impacty explosions, flippy, weird switching of styles. Yeah, totally, man. Totally, man. This is with Watanabe making a big monster, doing some big turning, some crazy moments, some insane effects. Oh, big whoosh. Holy fuck. Did you see that? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. That's the stuff. That's the stuff, man. Okay, Waylon. I see you. I see you. I see you a little bit. Having watched through a bunch of the storyboards that Waylon did, I've got an interesting idea. Heavenly Delusion, too. For most, like, OP stuff. That's interesting. Harumi Yamazaki. Little bit of stuff. Little bit of Wonder Egg priority, okay? Hakuyu Go, so much stuff. Kill la Kill has that trigger background that we've hit on this before, but also is that Mob Psycho guy. So that's the Mob Psycho guy. Hold on, why did I close this? Hironori Tanaka, Kai Ikara, what a cut! Holy shit. Bahi JD, JJK stuff. I probably can't watch that. Flip Flappers, we've looked at this stuff, and then the Kekkai Sensen stuff. I would also say that there's an immense amount of this that reminds me immensely of Kekkai Sensen, because giant fights in giant city exploding with immense amounts of debris feels exactly right, right? Like, literally exactly right? It's exactly right. Okay. Hakuyu Go in Flip Flappers, big momentum stuff. This is that big 3D insane fight against the big spider monster thing. So sick. Flip Flappers is so cool. Okay. Yeah. So maybe we can credit a lot of the insane effects stuff and crispy things to Hakuyu Go. Seems like a reasonable option. Harumi Yamasaki, don't know. FLCL Progressive, Flip Flappers, some Fate stuff. Devilman, Crybaby, Blood Blockade Battlefront, Hiroaka, One Punch Man, Ping Pong. Also some of that expressive stuff from working with Yuasa. Okay, Tsuchigami, Chainsaw Man, Fate, Little Witch Academia, Mob. So we've got even more Mob lineup. Way even more Mob lineup. And then we move into animation directors. Akame ga Kill, Dororo, Chiayafuru. Nothing that like lines up here super well with the kinds of action that we've got, but fine, reasonable. Still an animation director. Bunch of Jujutsu Kaisen, bunch of little or other things that don't hit as hard, and Chainsaw Man, which hits as hard. Okay. Episode 8 and then 10 through 12, episodes 1 and 12 has contributed. Yeah, I remember seeing Yamazaki on Chainsaw Man. Okay, Yosuke Yajima, Be the Beginning, Bakumatsu, Ghost in the Shell Arise. That's new stuff. Haikyuu stuff, Log Horizon stuff. Destruction of the Round Table. What is that? From 2021? Wait, what is this? Wait, what? There's more Log Horizon? How did I not know that there was a third season of Log Horizon? Did you know that there was a third season of Log Horizon? It's like moderately well rated? Did this come out? Did this release? It aired! Why didn't I hear about this? Log Horizon is like one of my favorite fucking shows. Holy shit, did it bomb? What happened? Okay, crazy thing to learn. Chainsaw Man, Chiayafuru, Jujutsu, Haikyuu, No Guns Life. No Guns Life was cool when it was happening for a period. Psychopaths, bunch of things. Ranking of Kings, Osama ranking. So some Shoto, some Goso stuff. Ah. Okay. So we've taken ourselves on a nice little walk from gawking at the animation that's here to investigating it a little bit more sincerely, looking at who was responsible for elements of it, and specifically in the storyboarding elements, who was responsible for the eye, who was responsible for seeing these scenes out the way that they end up being. And it turns out that it makes sense that the level of detail here would be overwhelming and almost incomprehensible in a way that's awesome and stunning. And I mean awesome in the original context and meaning of the word. Awesome is a word that gets diluted. Whoa, dude, so totally awesome. How absolutely radical. Doesn't mean anything, right? But the word actually means something that evokes awe. And awe is like stunned. It's like deer in the headlights stunned feeling. So something that evoked awe for me at one point in my life was like hiking over to this enormous waterfall and coming out of the forest in the woods and seeing this huge and feeling the humidity and seeing this huge cascade of water coming up over this cliff and fall so slowly that it was like impossible to fathom. And then watching it and realizing how much water must be flowing through that giant waterfall every second or every minute. And realizing that it's been doing that in its meandering course, cutting a river through mountains for longer than I can even fathom being existing, that evokes awe. Yeah, it's too big. It's too much to really like wrap your brain around. It's too many things, and then when you look at it closer, there's more, and there's more detail to it, and it goes deeper. When I'm using awesome to describe this episode, it is with that feeling in mind. That this episode has some stuff to it that evokes true awe in me. And that's something beyond just talking about, wow, really cool animation. It's the whole. It's the fact that we start off where we start off, and we jump into this letterboxed other state. We set a framework for the whole episode. That we start off so deeply desaturated and spot-colored before moving and escalating up to these cataclysmic, color-fucked, extravagant insanity moments that are characterized by the same subtle build of powerful musical cues throughout and really, really incredible attention to detail, to the point that I think it's counterproductive, to the point that I think that Weilin Zhang would have been better served doing less, and that the episodes might have even hit better if he did. But all of it together ends up evoking something that is rare for me, you know? It didn't used to be quite as rare. It used to be a little bit easier. But now I've seen what there is to see in the world. I've seen so much of the best animation that exists and has ever existed. And so when something needs to wow me and like really floor me, it's got to compete with having seen a bunch of Hideaki Anno cuts and like a bunch of Yutaka Nakamura cuts and a bunch of like truly the best stuff that has ever been and maybe will ever be. So in order to take a place alongside those, it's got stiff competition. And it's going to take more than just one cool Sakuga, one cool cut. Those are going to do it in some way and make me go, wow, that's really cool. I'm not going to lose that love for them, but to actually bowl me over, to actually surprise me, I'm going to need something special. Sukuna is so jaded that he needs something crazy and spectacular and special to get him smiling and fighting and having a good time. Well, we just got it. Makura was that, and the episode with Makura was that outside of this show for me. It was something that shook my understanding of what animation can look like. And I think if I extrapolate out from that, if I settle and think broader and think outside of myself, I imagine that this episode has changed some lives significantly. I don't mean that people have been like, wow, I idolize Sukuna and want to become like that, or whatever, right? That's not what I mean. When we watched episode, I think it's 19, of Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is it's the episode where we get the Hinokami Kagura, and it's totally different than all of the other episodes of Kimetsu no Yaiba up to that point. It starts with the dance, and it's so slow, and it builds all the way through, and it's like the whole episode is executed to really knock your socks off and change your life. And when that episode came out, the end of it, I sat there in wonderment and in awe and in amazement, thinking, everything's going to change now. And now, years later, things have been changing dramatically and clearly. And in my mind, a lot of them link right back to there, demonstrating what can be done and what will be found and seen as exciting. And the ripple effects of that change have yet to be felt in full. because the real impact that Kimetsu no Yaiba scene had won't be on the people who are already in the animation industry. It'll be on the people between the ages of 13 and 18 who are thinking about it, who have some artistic potential and don't know that they want to express it yet, and then they saw that and it changed things for them. This episode feels like that. Different way, different zone, different style, different mode, different feel. But to evoke a potency of awe like this is a powerful thing, and it took a lot of work on the back end side, and I'd love to hear more about that from people who are more knowledgeable about it than I am. Monko, hit us in the comments with more, please. Anyone else? But I think this is a potent episode of animation. I know that Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 has impacted a lot of people and made them see art in a different way. And I know that this episode is a standout amongst those. So I'm really glad to be able to walk through it together, to experience this space together, and hopefully, as I said, share some of my joy and enjoyment of it, and maybe even share a little bit in the experience of awe. Maybe connect it in a way that helps one person understand that their effort in the world can have an impact like that emotional impact on others, and that emotional impact might actually outlast the simple feeling of like, whoa, what a cool episode. All right, I'm gonna go play video games now. Certainly a lot of people will feel that way about it. But some of them will start drawing. Some of them will start going, how did they do that? And some of them will be watching those storyboards over and over and over and over, trying to figure out how that arm flew that way and how those cuts made sense and how we switched so seamlessly to like oil painting on glass and then back, and wondering what kind of styles could be used to make that work for their own projects and their own ideas. That really gets to me. That really inspires me. And I hope it does to you too. I think that's going to be a quality wrap for a quality episode, a deeply enjoyable episode of Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. I can't wait to see more comments on this and see what y'all think. It's going to be super exciting. But for now, I will say, thank you so much for getting your brains blasted out with me. Mine are somewhere over there, leaked out on the floor. Much love. Enjoyed the hell out of this. I'll see you next week for more Jujutsu. You can catch early access on the Patreon, linked in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Much love. Peace.